Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Data Dispatch. I hope you guys have had a great weekend. Let's talk about C3.AI, especially as we have trading that's going to resume here this week. Now, these are going to be some really important metrics to really discuss, looking at both the bearish and the bullish case. And why this is really important is because earnings will be coming up here in about a month, and this could drastically change the stock valuation compared to where the price is right now. Now, of course, before we get into it, I'm not a financial advisor, so please take everything I say with a grain of salt and do your own research before making an investment decision. Hit that like button for the algorithm, subscribe for daily videos. Now, if we talk about C3.AI and really pop it up on the screen here, C3.AI, it did close at about $38 exactly on Friday. That's what we got at market close. What we did see is a little bit of a drop down about 2% in C3.AI, basically following beneath that $40 line that it's been kind of teetering at, seeing some resistance at about that 42, 43 we've seen, and kind of stabilizing here at this 38. Now, if we look back here, you've seen some support at that 35, 36, kind of mid 30s, not to get too technical here, but we could see some further support, or depending what's going to be happening with the stock market in general, with rates and things like that, how the trading is going to actually be carried out. Now, with that, important thing to know, C3.AI is sitting at about that $4.4 billion market cap, and I wanted to go through an important article here that really did highlight kind of the bullish and bearish case behind C3.AI, and I think the bearish case is something to really pay attention to, especially with the kind of hype and with the buzzword of AI that we've had. Now, with that being said, with artificial intelligence and C3.AI really having that premium ticker symbol, AI, it does get a lot of attention. So we're going to be talking about, of course, the bearish case here first, and then diving deep into the bullish case and kind of seeing which one could possibly win, and we'll kind of talk about my opinions after that. But right now, C3.AI, it really has been a tear in the markets, up 260% year to date. If we zoom out on C3.AI, you can see back here in May, it was trading much lower, and up 260%. This has gained a lot of steam, and it hasn't gotten too far out of control. That's the big question that many people are trying to answer. Now, despite the soaring stock price and kind of what these tech analysts are predicting is that they have these worries about the turnover rate of the CFOs, and also a big one is the actual customer count, the important metric we're going to be talking about, and how C3.AI actually counts its customers. Now, with the bear case right here, some of the short sellers there are wondering if the stock has gotten too hot to handle. And talking about the CFO turnover, we're going to be looking at right here, we've seen a lot of flip-flop with the turnovers. And as you can see right here, they've gone through many CFOs within just the last few years, and these CFOs are only lasting basically about 1 year, and then they're turning over and it's another CFO. If you see a lot of turnover rate in some of these top, executive positions within these software companies, that could spike some red flags. However, there has been a response by the company executives by basically saying C3 has grown from just about 10 people to 100 people to a multinational company, and the responsibility that CFO does need to have, it changes very drastically. So the fact that they could maybe not be suitable or have basically the credentials to be able to support this multinational company could play a factor. That's what they come out. Now, is that actually happening behind the scenes? That's what we don't know, but it is what their response is, and is kind of the response to the criticism that they have been seeing. Now, one important thing to talk about right here is how C3.AI really does count its customers. Now, the list of concerns really basically on its customer base is looking at, are these trial customers? Are these single one-time use? Or are these subscriptions revenue? Now, one thing to know is that subscription revenue has actually been essentially flat quarter to quarter over the last 3 or 4 quarters, by basically saying that the revenue just from subscriptions has not really been increasing. What subscription revenue is nice is that does give you more of a stable type income, and can give you more of kind of, I want to say, a metric or an idea of a revenue that's going to come in for a company, as the one time and the trial, those kind of revenues can fluctuate depending on the popularity of the company, depending on the marketing in the company, and basically just how many people are trying to use C3.AI. Now, one thing that they have changed is how they are counting their customers. And you can see with their difference in new calculations and old calculations here, there have been some changes in the metric on how they actually do count those. So one of them, and the way that they have been including their customers or counting their customers, are people that are paying for products and services. This includes paid trials, like I said, one-time subscription and professional service offerings. But however, the way that they do conduct their business is that, for example, here, if they're doing business with Shell in 3 or 4 different divisions within the company or within the Shell division, that would count as 2 or 3 customers in one customer entity. So the real number of customers could be drastically changed if there's many different divisions within one company that does actually pay for subscription services through C3.AI. So those are kind of the 2 main criticisms that we are seeing, is the customer count, how they're actually calculating that, and also their subscription revenue that has been flat quarter to quarter. Now, if we do flip here, let's go to more of the bullish case and how C3.AI could potentially still be a decently priced stock and could be poised for a much more higher valuation. Now, C3 is in a high market, no doubt about that, especially with the ticker symbol AI. It does get a lot of trending, a lot of attention towards it. Now, what the bullish perspective does say is that generative AI alone exceeds basically about a $1.2 billion market cap. And if we look at enterprise AI, and these predictions are all at $500, $600, $700 billion, basically saying that this is a large market opportunity that has not been tapped in yet. And if we have a lot of those predicted metrics of generative AI, those values coming into these stocks and into these companies, C3.AI could be poised for much larger returns, and basically saying there are some senior analysts saying that C3 has built a business that should reach $300 million this year in revenue around applications of machine learnings and predictive artificial intelligence. Now, their last revenue metrics were like 72 some million right here, 72.4 million for the last revenue, and they are in the estimate supposed to be around 71 for the next quarter. So having this prediction here at about 300 million in the bullish case is a large flip and a large bullish perspective. But with that being said, there could be some light to here. Is this basically a next kind of .com boom or next internet boom regarding artificial intelligence itself, and being one of the top trending hot AI stocks? Could we see a lot of money come into that stock? Now, one thing is that they do appear to be the largest and the strongest complex with industrial customers who have large data sets that do need to be analyzed with artificial intelligence. And we have seen that on their website. If you go to C3.AI, they're working with Shell, they're working with the US Air Force, working with much larger companies that have large amounts of data sets that do need to be analyzed and that AI can use to help these companies. So C3.AI can really be looked at in 2 ways. And to summarize really right here, you do have that bullish perspective that there is a large market opportunity in terms of just AI in general that could be coming into the stock. Vice versa, the bearish kind of potential is that there could be possibly too much hype. We're seeing subscription revenue that's going flat over the last 2 or 3 or 4 quarters, whatever it was. And also, is the customer count, is that kind of skewed, and how many customers that they have, and with the CFO turnover. But I do understand that as the company is growing, the CFO is going to have to carry much more responsibilities. But is that a cover-up, or is that actually what's happening? I think those are answers that nobody will have the answer to, or questions that nobody will have the answer to. It will be interesting, though, especially coming up here towards earnings, how C3.AI will trade. And I'll be keeping a close eye on you guys, keeping you guys up to date, seeing what will happen with C3.AI. And we'll also be looking at some other types of AI stocks like Palantir, things like that, even some blue chip stocks like Google, Microsoft, and that's kind of where I want to take this channel, is look at different stocks. So let me know what kind of stocks do you want me to look into, kind of analyze, other than just C3.AI. Of course, we'll be keeping a close eye on this, but also looking into different opportunities that there are out there. Like I said, all I can do is kind of provide you guys education with with what stocks are out there that you may not know of. However, you got to make your own decision if you want to make a financial investment decision. But take care. Peace out. Trying to get back to the daily videos. Subscribe, and like I said, hit that like button. It really does help out the algorithm, helps out smaller channels like this, trying to compete against some of the other big YouTubers. So take care, peace out, and have a great week.